one quick thing that I want to talk about, right? The concept of incident spreads across multiple use cases. Wi-Fi is a problem, application could be a problem, user device could be a problem. One of the biggest culprit we see in this is the ISP could be a problem. And when you think about ISP, it could be last mile ISP, it could be intermediate ISP, and we see them in the data path all along. So we are giving an example. We are extending the concept of this incident to ISPs as well. We'll tell you which of your ISPs that users are connecting through to Zscaler are having a problem. So you can see how long a specific incident is going on. Is it a regional issue? How many of your users it is impacting, and how long that issue has been going on. So if I click on the incident details here, you can see this issue is going on the East Coast. It is impacting 7 users who are working from there. In one single geolocation, issues could be distributed as well. We have seen wider issues with AT&T and Comcast in the past. We had all that telemetry in the back, and now we are bringing it in front of you. Last year, we introduced a global ISP incident dashboard. Now that gets very contextualized for you and for your organization. So you can see specific impacted users. You can see key metrics like what is the ZDX score for those users who have been impacted. You can see egress first hop latencies for them, and you can also see if it was a complete blackout scenario when there was like no internet. You can see probes when there was no internet access. So these are very exciting innovations, but I want to understand from a practitioner's perspective. Pam, as you ran those large networks and you used both our services, ZIA, ZPA, to basically secure your traffic, so how some of these innovations, especially we are bringing out in ZDX, would have helped you at that time?
So thanks, Dhaval. So those of you who know me, you know I like to tell a story, right? You got to frame it up in your mind. What's reality? And so my reality in the past was, what would happen? I'd be going about my day, all of my staff would be, and all of a sudden, I'd start to get a text message or a phone call from the help desk supervisor. And they'd be like, hey, Pam, we're getting tickets. I'm like, okay, well, what are the tickets? Well, we have users down. Okay, well, what's down? Well, we're not quite sure. Well, how many tickets do you have? Well, we're at about 5. Oh, no, I think we're at about 10. The tickets are growing, right? And now you're like, oh, God, what's going on? So now you start making the calls. You start engaging your staff, right? And now you realize that the tickets, I'm like, you need to put a front-end message on your help desk. You've got to go ahead and engage your technical teams, because everybody's got to start looking at their environment to see what's happening, because you don't know what's happening. You also get a PM, typically, and the PM will start to take all of the trouble tickets that are coming in and start to try to analyze. Is it an application? Is it Office 365? Is it a specific group of users? Is it a specific region of the world? Right now, you don't know. And what do I have to do next? I have to call my CIO. And that conversation goes, hi, I'm just letting you know we have an incident. Okay, what is the incident? I don't know. How many people are impacted? I don't know. He goes, okay, you got 30 minutes. I want an update every 30 minutes. Here's that 30-minute mark, and it starts ticking. Right? 30 minutes comes. I can't even get everyone engaged in a war room in 30 minutes, whether you're on Zoom, whether you're in a room. Now, paint this picture. You're in the war room, and there are multiple TV screens. And you have multiple SMEs from all the various areas. And they're all heads down. I have CNN trying to identify if there's a global event. I have a weather channel on to see is there a tsunami that may have hit Japan. Where are the users at? We're now identifying the region of the world that calls are coming in from. Okay, we're homing in on something. It's my 30-minute mark. What am I doing? I know the first 30 minutes, I can send a text. I'm not calling, I'm gonna send a text. But I know the next call, the next 30 minutes, that's a phone call, whether I'm calling or he's calling. So now you start to understand that all these various SMEs have different tools. Now, all these TVs have different tools. And quite frankly, I need a PhD to understand what they're even looking at, right? They're not looking at the same data. So how can we effectively, efficiently, and quickly identify a problem when not everybody's on the same page looking at the same data? That's where, quite frankly, the next incident happens. Guess what? I start getting a call from my peers saying, hey, awesome job. This is at the 45-minute mark. Awesome job. The problem's resolved. And here's me. Are you flipping beep? right? Because I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know what the problem is. My CIO calls, he says, Pam, awesome job. What was it? Don't know. Well, how many were impacted? Don't know. He says, do you know anything? And it's at that point that all of a sudden the phone goes silent and you realize that your CIO is questioning your ability to really do your job because you don't have the right tools. You don't have the visibility into what's happening. And I said to him, I said, well, we're assuming it was a carrier issue. He said, you're assuming it's a carrier issue? Is it going to happen again? Probably. There? I don't know. That's where I see the functionality of ZDX would have changed my world in my previous role. And for all of you who are struggling today to be able to call the business because ZDX with the ISP option told you, hey, you have a problem, this is where the problem is, and this is probably your radius of impact? Come on, that is immense. I would have given anything for that back in my day.
Thank you, Pam. That was great perspective.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to wrap up the session. You know, there was a lot packed in this session, from cloud networking to branch networking to digital experience. So all these innovations, if I have to sum up, I'll take 20 more minutes, but I'll try to do it in 20 seconds. So cloud, we are all moving workloads to the cloud. Cloud is not a question of if, but when. So let's figure out how to simplify cloud connectivity. Let's not make the same mistakes that we made in building our data centers and trying to extend that to the cloud. I see a lot of customers who are extending their data center networks to the cloud. That is not cloud, right? We are simplifying that for you with our infrastructure as code cloud connectivity offerings, which gives you secure cloud workload offload. Branch connectivity. SD-WAN was required, but we saw it as a transitionary technology. It's time for zero trust networking. Reimagine how you're doing branch connectivity. And if users are not happy, security doesn't matter in today's world. So use the power of AI. This is an area where AI can give you tremendous insights and empower your employees to maximize their productivity. This is why things like self-help or users getting insights and being able to act on things is not just good for them, but also saves a lot of cost for organizations.